Gyemfi asa ye na adwuma ne bi Sammy Gyemfi aye na wanwade ne bi ombeka se de na waye one eye Reverend Ntim Forjour ko share news file ye news ni bi egu ye channel no so a but it drew point bi a papa no asore adwane yes or say Sammy Gyemfi you should wear sibo because papa no ni fat sorry we need fat internal breaking news is Reverend Ntim Forjour meeting Sammy Gyemfi no or Johnny every studio because of we need credible fact because of debate na question went me and previously I be a channel no so at this point you know you betie and semi report and after some ko breaking by you know akwano odwane and o me update say akwano every studio ko na o ma is a update we betie some of the few debater it transpire before so ko break na Reverend Ntim Forjour adwane every studio on stay tuned.
It's the most authoritative news analysis platform, and here on News File we put Ghana first. My guests you have been listening to so far, Reverend John Ntim Forjour, ranking member, Defense and Interior Committee of Parliament. He just left us because he says that after reading the messages, he felt I shouldn't have read them, and that I read them to embarrass him, so he will not stay. I hope he understands that this is what we do, just the template. Nobody's doing anything to embarrass him. That's how it is. And we want oppositions to hold the fire to the feet of the government. They shouldn't, back in like that. Professor Kesi is security consultant. Sammy Gyemfi is acting managing director, Precious Minerals Marketing Company Limited. Kofi Bento is senior vice president, Imani Africa. Now we're going to try to see if we can find these containers. You know how a container looks like, how huge it looks like, and they've gone missing. How did that happen? How is that even possible? Dr. Steve Manteyao, chairman of the Ghana Extractive Transparency Initiative, will join us for the last segment. Victoria Bright, you know her popularly as Vicky Bright. She's a lawyer and entrepreneur. She joins us in this segment. This show is brought to you by the kind sponsorship of Bank of Africa, strong as a group and close as a partner, MTN everywhere you go. Ashesi University, educating ethical and entrepreneur leaders for Africa. Robert & Sons Optical Services, your comprehensive eye care service provider for 33 plus years. My Way Insurance, simply dial *165# on MTN to join My Way today. DBS Industries, roofing, Papa Fie. Flamingo Paint, simply superior. Syntex Tank, it's strong and it's tough. Activa International Insurance, our clients are passion. So on this one, because of the development and the time that has run out, we will hope that, gentlemen, you can be as brief as possible on this one. So as many as 1,328 containers have not been accounted for.
Of these specific security matters go to suggest there's something they will be hiding, particularly when the information put out there by Accusations regarding with the purpose of
you have done a minute without responding to my question.
And no, please, and the purpose why they came in and where they came from were inaccurate. They didn't come from Rwanda, they didn't come from Angola, Gran Canaria, and straight. So when you put out this false information, it goes to suggest that there is a reason why you are disallowing the security agencies from undertaking their investigations and putting out their credible information out there. So the reason why we used a press conference was because Parliament was on recess.
You have evidence, but you want to give it to the security, is that it?
I have told you what we have. And clearly, after we even wrote further to request for them to meet,
you have told me what you have. You haven't told me what you have. What do you have?
For us, you want me to tell you on your show? You want me to tell you so and so on your show?
The onus is on you.
To give you on your show?
You are being labeled as a liar right now.
No, I'm not a liar. They are liars. So you want me to give you Samson? This is my evidence. So and so. Sammy Gyemfi, this is my evidence. Is that how you adduce evidence?
If you could put this information out in the public, you should better put the evidence out.
No, that advice is not taken. Thank you very much, Samson. But
okay, thank you.
But the logic that national security apparatus should not be allowed to take interest in investigating such matters and be allowed to lead the communication and the assessment
You've
for
done a minute and
presidency,
30 minutes. Thank you. 30 seconds. Yes,
they are not
Kofi.
interested.
Kofi, all right. Kofi, how do we proceed?
Yes,
how do we proceed? Thank you. We agreed on this. Kofi, how do
they are hiding something.
Thank you.
But there are other agencies who are investigating. They are interested.
Kofi, let's hear you. Let's hear you. It's your
National
turn.
security issues are bipartisan issues. We've had problems under all parties. When these things arise, I would think that Reverend and Co. should handle it first within Parliament in the Security Committee, and they should link up with the security agencies and try and deal with it. But we all know that sometimes there are partisan pools in this thing, and then it may become necessary, for you to maybe bring it out and maybe raise it or whatever it is. But the point I want to make is this: it is not good for any of us when these things degenerate like they've degenerated this morning. And so I would wish that when we see some of these problems, let both parties come together and establish the truth. None of us benefits. Drug dealing, all these things, they are for private benefit and national ruin.
What do you suggest? How do you go about establishing the truth here?
Within Parliament.
How?
When he has this information, the parliamentary committee, whatever it is, they have the way of summoning, even in camera, put the information there, discuss it, make the effort. That's what I'm saying. Be nationalistic about it. When it comes out like this, it's a partisan thing. But let's be clear here. Under both parties, we've had a slippage in drug dealing, in all of the, under both parties. And the people who do them don't necessarily have the sanction of the politicians. But when the problem comes, it becomes partisan, then they defend. My worry is that just like it's happened here, it will be happening in other places, and then they slip through. And when it degenerates, we will all suffer for it. So national security issues are bipartisan. When he mentioned the issue of the cocaine, over 10 containers of gold and cash enter your country. You know what? Professor will tell you, where water can pass, air can pass. If that kind of thing can happen to your country, mercenaries can come here and take over your government. So look, let's not play with them. And it's really sad that they degenerate into partisan arguments. And there should be also no recklessness or point taking. If indeed somebody was landing plane loads of cocaine and things here, don't be taking any points on it because we are all at risk.
Okay.
So really, I'm hoping that we'll find a way to make this bipartisan. Parliament is the best.
Nonetheless, Reverend Ntim has not been reckless. You said there should be no recklessness.
No. You see,
he's not been reckless. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Not everything is a yes or no.
Thank you.
I hope he did better with it, but I don't know what kind of resistances and issues.
Thank you.
I have faced several problems.
Let's hear you. Sorry, don't intervene.
I'm sorry. $500 million.
Reverend. I'm sorry. Let's keep to the bargain. Sorry. Yes, let's hear you.
Something. It should be clear to any discerning mind out there that this issue is not an issue. It's not a national security issue, which requires a bipartisan, approach or resolution.
I agree.
This is a clear case of disinformation gone bad. There's a clear case of a member of parliament who irresponsibly decided to concoct and fabricate a lie against the government of Ghana to cause hatred and opprobrium for the government. And he has been exposed. He has been caught pants down. And it is very clear. He himself says that he was talking about mere suspicions. So per his own confessions, he has no evidence worthy of interrogation or investigation. Again, per his own confessions, he has absolutely nothing to buttress or substantiate the allegations he has made. His Excellency the President, in a spirit of transparency and accountability, has directed the relevant state security agencies to investigate the matter, will go through the law, follow due process, and get him to appear. And should he fail to adduce evidence, he will face accountability. And that is something that we can guarantee him. So you see something? Let us stop endorsing recklessness like Kofi Ben.
And endorse money
people who set out to lie. If this was genuine, if there was some basis, we will all have said that, look, there is some basis for this allegation. Let's not dismiss it. Let's go and investigate it. We've all been in opposition before. But when somebody set out to concoct, fabricate non-existent issues, lies against a government, you don't come on air to entertain, encourage, or endorse that. So what he has done clearly is irresponsible. It must be condemned. And if he is still, if I were him, I would do what gentlemen do. Look, I got it wrong. I am sorry, forgive me. That is all. You have your honor intact. But if you continue to insist, attacking people when you know you don't have the evidence, then what you are saying is that let's delve into the matters. And should we find that these allegations were malicious, frivolous, vexatious, and all that, and in breach of the laws of this country, you will be prosecuted because you are not above the law. And a federal market will not be able to save you from accountability in this matter.
Sammy,
that you can be sure.
Sammy, yes, so you're done with your time, but I need just a minute again with you.
Yeah.
He's raised suspicions.
Yeah.
The time these flights were leaving, we had a blackout at the airport. Some say that is curious. Like he has also raised 2 aircraft, both technical faults, around the same time. That's curious. Anybody who is well-meaning, who has come chance onto something like this, should raise an issue.
Okay, Sam said, assuming without admitting that what you're saying is even wrong, right, that the circumstances surrounding the arrival or departure of this aircraft from Ghana is curious, okay, assuming that is the case. Curiosity is not the same as saying that I have intelligence that the said aircrafts were being used to smuggle illicit substances. That we are not talking about curiosity here. That's number one. Number two, Felix Ofosu-Kwakye, who is the right person to speak on this matter. He has ultimate responsibility for government communications because all these state security agencies are part of an animal called government. And the overall spokesperson for that entity is Honorable Felix Ofosu-Kwakye. Has given you the registration numbers of the various aircrafts, true or false. He's giving you the time that they arrived in Ghana, why they had to overstay in Ghana. He has given you the time they left Ghana. He has given you, they have even shared with you pictures of the materials they were carrying. He has told you that all the relevant security agencies inspected the aircraft.
One of the flights, the first flight was stopping for what he calls technical stop. And it was also
I think that one was the one which was stopping for screening.
Both he mentioned technical stop. Yeah. And he says that it needed this certification which is required for the European countries.
Scanning and screening. Yes. A certification necessary for the EU market.
It took off with the cargo. Yeah. Knowing that it needed this certification. Yeah. Why didn't he do it wherever it took off from? Why did he have to come to Ghana to do that?
But he has explained to you that where the flight took off from, that system is not available.
And I'm telling you that they have it.
Yes, exactly. And all you know, that is the standard practice.
Okay.
That's a lie.
Thank you.
Don't you have flight doing
We have heard you.
It's a lie.
Don't repeat it. We have heard you.
Yes. The normal practice.
Thank you. We are done.
Thank you. Lie on such transit at various airports for one reason or the other.
Thank you, gentlemen.
That is standard practice.
Thank you, gentlemen. I want to be able to continue to refer to you guys as gentlemen, please. Please, gentlemen. Thank you. Reverend. Thank you. Thank you. And I have your messages here, and I'll share it with my guest and with the rest of the world. Gentlemen, please. Rev, thank you. All right, so Akilu Fantiakwa Begros. You're welcome back. This is News File.
It is war. So we should be careful. The containers are not missing. The containers have documents covering them. There are paid officials who were superintending their movement. They know where those containers are, and they must be made to answer questions. In the law of evidence, when you are the person with information and you are asked the information and you don't supply the information, everything adverse will be attributed to you. In other words, when the containers landed, there were papers covering them. There was an officer in charge. When they were put in a certain place, papers covering them. Try to take even a box of things out of the pot, and you understand what I'm saying. The different hoops you have to go through. So, Samson, what I'm saying is this. Somebody has information about where the containers are, and that person is in a pot. That person should be made to answer whether he is in office or out of office. If we are not an anarchic state, a proper investigation will determine where these things are.
In fact,
we will find them and prosecute people.
You have followed the group with the cameras.
Yes.
To the Pram and elsewhere, where they have seen some of the containers and the wires in there.
Yes.
And you see that they use car rims.
Rims to cover them,
to cover them up. Yeah. It's the material that we...
I didn't want to digress, but that's what I'm saying. Even where they steal and they try to hide, you can track it. Look, in this country, police were able to find a dead body under concrete. The containers are not missing. In a functioning state, we will find them, and the people who are involved will either answer questions or go to jail.
Police also arrested a truck that was going to A+'s constituency. Yeah. And the allegation is that it appears that during the transition, that is when some of these things happen, you know, the grabbing that was going on, alleged. Yeah. This was part of it. The police arrested that vehicle as well, and they saw some of those wires. The ECG is the only one that procures them for the country.
Anarchic states. That truck came through a port, came through police barriers, came through all kinds of state systems that must work. So again, if we are not a system whose officers can choose what to do and what not to do, like you said, they could trace it. Look, and the minister may not be, Minister Jinapo may not be a security person or whatever it is. With just a little effort, you can find all the places they have been hidden. So look, Samson, my point is those containers are not missing. They were in somebody's custody at a particular point. And then after that point, we couldn't find them anymore. That last point, whoever is in charge there should be made to answer these questions. We can't afford to continue this anarchic arrangement.
So, Gyemfi, as we are told, the ECG between 2022 and 2024, its planned procurement was for 4.1 billion. But it ended up procuring 16.9 billion. And here we find where some of it is going.
I'm very happy with this question because, you see, that is the root cause of what we are discussing for me. That is the root cause, and that is where we must begin the discussion from. How did we get here in the first place? This is something. This case is a very sad matter. And I agree with Kofi on this matter. And I even say that this is a clear case of criminal negligence by enemies of the state in the previous management at ECG.
Are you not speaking too early?
No, because we are, as we speak, the facts are very clear. And the facts show that ECG did not have any need for these cables that they kept importing into the country. Every organization, not to talk of a company limited by shares, has a procurement plan for every year and a budget. And in that procurement plan and the budget, the company provides for all the items, the materials, the resources it will need in that fiscal year. Yes, there can be situations where the company exceeds that, you see, but you cannot have a situation where consistently over the years, one organization always exceeds its value procurement plan by 200%, 300%, 400%. In the year 2023, for example,
by nearly 13 billion.
13 billion. Simply doesn't make sense. So clearly somebody stood to benefit from the mere award of these procurement contracts, even though he knew that ECG had no need for that. Again, Samson, we know as a matter of fact, and ECG itself has conceded, that none of these contracts were...
A daily update TV, so now we share and subscribe, share, and stay tuned, stay connected. God bless you.